Okay, everybody, we're live. Sorry about that. Thank you again for your patience. Let me see here. I just gotta let's do this. New link below. New link here. Oh, come on. What are we doing here? New link here. New link here. Let's put that new link right there. Get rid of that. In a row. Mic check. Why? Where the hell is that coming from? Okay, there we go. All right. Here. And there we go. Post that. And then let's go back to our other accounts. Which accounts? All right. Like here. Boom, boom, boom. And then let's go here. Put it in here. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. New link here. All right. And let me go put it in Discord. Move all embeds. Let's put this in here. New link here. Publish. There we go. All right. So sorry about that, folks. The last time I will try to use Xtreme. Am I in the right time frame where I can curse? I think I am. Yeah. Xtreme is a piece of shit. Literally. It's dog shit. I'll never use it again. Cold Blood told me not to use it, but we were trying to extend our footprint to Kick. Because I see some promising things there. Fuck it, it ain't worth it. Xtreme was our way to do so, but nah, we ain't, no, fuck it. We can't do it. All right, y'all. We're back. We're here with another episode. Let me fix this real quick because this is annoying the shit out of me. Like, why do I have this so uncentered? The gameplay module. Why is that so uncentered, man? Special video. Like I don't remember having that so poorly centered ever. And then we got Cold Blood's favorite game in there playing right now, Redfall. We got to get that fixed, man. He might quit the show and shit if I don't fix that. All right. What's up, everybody? It's your boy MM2K. We're back with a special episode of NRO Mic Check. This is the show where we talk about the latest and greatest subject for the day in gaming news. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, do we have a doozy for you today. I was not expecting to be talking about this based upon the information that just happened. So you're going to have to excuse. And at the top of the hour still, I think we're going to end this. I'm going to bring Cold Blood in the latter end to give his thoughts about what happened. I mean, and then of course we'll always elaborate more this Friday on NRO podcast. But for those of you that are not aware, the Xbox games were just showcased and headlined for the Nintendo Switch Direct. This was a publisher's direct, and now it makes sense on why they didn't show anything. They canceled their direct, and it makes you wonder, was Xbox just going to have Nintendo show these games and they deal with the fallout afterwards. Like I'm hard pressed to believe that they thought that would be a good idea, but it looks like from all intents and purposes, that's what they were going to do. Let me show you an article that's talking about this. This is from The Verge. It says grounded in Pentiment are Microsoft's first Xbox exclusive games for Nintendo Switch. Again, we've already heard the information from the Xbox podcast. We know that was spurred because of the rumors. Xbox kind of wiggled its way through that with the fanboys only. I think the consumers that had legitimate concerns, they realized that nothing was said to address their particular concerns. What ended up happening is that Xbox said in their 4 games, which for all intents and purposes just could be an initial batch of games. I think nobody believes that Xbox is just going to put 4 games on these competing platforms and go about their business. Xbox just spent $75 billion on property that, because of the regulators, they have to now do 10-year deals on and go multi-plat with. So any lost lead that they were willing to do or whatever to try to make any content exclusive has just been thrown out the window. Now they got to make this shit multi-plat. It was a feasible belief system that, hey, this was a play for for exclusivity. Phil even hinted at that in the emails to Jim Ryan. But for those of you that have been following this extensively, you know how all this panned out. The Activision Blizzard games still belong to the street, son. They are hamstrung because of the intervention from the regulators. And something that I think just breezes by everybody, because they say, oh, the CMA fraudulently got on Xbox's case about cloud gaming and blah, 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 blah. Cut that bullshit, bruh. And brudettes, cut the bullshit. Why do I call it bullshit? Because even the freaking EU said, no, the deal as you're proposing, originally, we have a problem with it. You got to restructure this somehow. It just so happens that Microsoft thought that they could restructure it with the EU, and the CMA would just roll over as well. I think they always knew they were going to get some trouble out of the FTC for political reasons, but they figured that they could pin FTC in a box if the EU would agree, and then that would roll over to the CMA. And it didn't work that way. So all of the big 3 regulators that had a stake in whether this deal would pass or not had a problem as it was structured, based upon evidence, testimony, and all that other stuff, that there had to be changes. So you got the reason why I bring that up is you got to understand that any hopes of exclusivity to give them leverage in a platform/console war, all incentive for that died the moment that they had to give Xbox games to the streets. And Saatchi is like, we got to make our $75 billion back. And me knowing what I know, again, me all the way back in 2017, getting a sense that something was amuck with Phil Spencer as it related to competing in the console/platform space. I knew something was amuck with this guy, even when I was slashing the sickle around and giving it to the ponies, right? In my most staunchest Xbox days. I'm going to go over my history, but that's why I started creating content on YouTube. Because at the time, I felt like PlayStation content was overrated and Xbox was being fraudulently looked over, and that there was a lot of just static and noise out there that didn't accurately depict what you were getting. And you know what? For the most part, I still stand by that back then. At launch time, yeah, I truly believe that we made the battle over who was doing what for each platform. It essentially was over 180p. PlayStation didn't have any essential launch titles. They were selling you on freaking Octodad. You know what I'm saying? They admitted themselves they were running light. To the naked eye, the extra 180p that you were getting on PlayStation was not groundbreaking. PlayStation, their dominance and the gap that they created was based off of the poor execution from the Phil Spencer era. They stopped investing in hard-hitting multiplats. They no longer delivered any type of exclusives that were tantalizing to the gamers that they needed to attract the casuals. And then they launched a mid-gen refresh that got outperformed visually or to the eye by a $200 counterpart in the PlayStation 4 Slim. I would argue that maybe the Xbox One X is the worst selling Xbox console ever. That was supposed to be the console that turned everything around. It is the worst selling console ever. Xbox went on a trajectory of, okay, we're the new kids on the block. We are getting slobber knocker, but we brought Halo. We're introducing broadband. They went from being the new kid on the block, innovating, going to next gen, severely innovating and competing with PlayStation and really beating them in software sold when the activities of that generation was critical and relevant, to completely going away from that winning strategy and creating the worst selling Xbox and the Xbox One X, to now realizing that, hey, making a big grab that was going to include exclusivity. You could tell in the email that Phil Spencer sent to Jim Ryan, that had Jim Ryan's underoos all in a bunch. And because of the poor execution of how they handled the Bethesda purchase, I feel like that came back to bite them in the butt, because Phil, again, under Phil's leadership, he played that hand wrong. Satya and team okayed it, and it came back to bite them in the butt in the long run, to where they had to do 10-year deals. What am I talking about? The 10-year deals are relative to the cloud gaming business. Remember, I did videos on our Cloud Dosage YouTube channel that said because of how they played the Bethesda game purchase, it could come back to bite them in the butt with Activision Blizzard. And I said we could be getting Call of Duty on Stadia, because Stadia was still around at the time. Everybody laughed. They, MM2K, you cloud gaming nut. You don't know what you're talking about. Look what happened. This is before anybody had any indication that the CMA was going to move in the direction that they did. Look what happened. More so than any of your favorite Xbox zealot creators, I predicted more of the outcome and the movements with the whole regulators' decisions and all the other stuff throughout the entirety of it, more so than they did. They basically just crossed their fingers and twinkled their eyes and said, please, Xbox, get it. Please get. They had no idea what was going on or why, because they don't understand business. Hence why they're still leading you astray today. There is no incentive for Xbox to keep their stuff exclusive, because the biggest pool that they could have to maybe bring you exclusively to their ecosystem now belongs to the streets. And it's going to do so for the next 10 years. Satya Nadella's biggest concern, which is his competitors in the cloud, mainly Amazon and Google. Call of Duty would have been the final nail in the coffin for both of them if they would have made that exclusive. Google just got, they got ants in their pants and they just jumped out way too early. Everybody's looking at them like, what the fuck is y'all doing? But that's a whole nother discussion. It's a whole leadership thing that needs to change there at the top. Because there's rumblings that they might want to get back into gaming and stuff like that. It's not going to fly, pimping. I'm letting you know that right now, as a staunch supporter of the Stadia effort and still a believer in what that could have done, especially with a lot of the things that I know they were about to head in. That leadership has to change before anybody ever trusts them again. This is not coming from MM2K. This is coming from gamers. Like, they've lost the faith in the majority of the people that supported them, and the mainstream gamers never trusted you in the first place. You think they're going to trust you? Not going to happen. So unless you change your leadership and your leadership exudes confidence, like you got to wipe the CEO, board, or whoever at that level, you keep Jack Buser on down because he knows how to do this gaming thing. You know, you get some of the legacy Stadia people to work with, then you might have a chance. Until you do that, you can forget it. Stay in the water. This is not coming from me. This is coming from gamers. That being said, I mentioned them to say this. Everybody looked at them like, what the fuck is your problem? Why are you bailing out? I'm still 10 toes deep into this. Even if I got to be quiet or if I got to scale back, AKA Amazon Luna. So Satya's big thing was to take out both of them. Google just got antsy feet. That was only half of the deal. Luna's still in it. And now they got to give the games to all the other cloud competitors. That gives Satya heartburn because those other cloud competitors, like when you look at NVIDIA GeForce Now, I think they use AWS servers to power their cloud. That's helping Amazon still. See, cloud gaming business isn't just about the platform itself. It's about the servers that they use. Now, I think Boosteroid is using Azure, I think. But these other platforms, I think the other ones are using AWS. So now Microsoft games are going to help bolster AWS. This purchase in large part was done to help smolder that. Check out my content about Satya going on a rampage in 2019. So again, there is no incentive for Microsoft as a business to keep this stuff multi-plat. To keep this stuff exclusive anymore. The last signal for them was Starfield. There was so much hype around Starfield. There was cyberpunk hype around Starfield. Starfield wasn't a glitchy mess at launch. It performed for the most part the way that people expected. Even though there were still bugs in it, it was the most polished Bethesda game at launch. It did numbers, but when you compare the numbers that it did, when you factor in that, hey, we made this exclusive to Game Pass, Xbox consoles, and Steam, and a large part of our interaction was on Game Pass, and Game Pass didn't have any significant growth behind it, do you know how much money we sacrificed in launching this day and date in Game Pass solely, not putting it on other platforms like how we originally planned? That was their last hurrah for supporting this exclusive thing here on out. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still going to be games that are going to launch on Xbox consoles and Game Pass before they see the light of day elsewhere. But believe you me, they will see the light of day at some point in time elsewhere, especially if the game has a bigger budget and especially if it's feasible to port it elsewhere. The platform wars are over. You got to just get over it. The platform wars are over. You got to just get over it. You have a decision to make. Do you A, speak with your wallet if you feel like that this type of decision harms your what you want, with your purchasing power, which I can understand that. If the games are ultimately going to make it to other platforms and you're not a Game Pass gamer, then yeah, you may sit there and say to yourself, well, shit, I might as well get a PlayStation, or after what you've seen today, I might as well get a Nintendo Switch, because I'll still get access to those Xbox games that I still like, and I'll get access to these Nintendo games that are tantalizing to me too. I made a choice, but it's not because I wasn't interested in their stuff. It's just that this box superseded all my other choice options. But if they are going to be available elsewhere, well, damn, I feel like that I wasted money on this box, because even if I sell it, it's depreciated in value. I was buying third parties here. I could have been buying third parties there or elsewhere. Those people, you have a legitimate concern, I feel. Those that fit under that umbrella, that did not fall for the Phil double speak in this regard, you just simply have to make a decision with your wallet. Xbox, look, I get what you're doing. I understand why you're doing it, but the product isn't for me. I'm out. I will support you when the games come to these other platforms, because I'm missing out on these other games when I really don't have to now, because your stuff that I prefer is going to be coming there too. So I can enjoy the best of both worlds. And you have some gamers in the mind state of, I might as well jump on that now while this box has, while it has some trade-in value. I might as well jump in on that now. I might as well stop buying multiplats, more concerningly. I might as well stop buying my multiplats there and get them elsewhere if that's the platform that I'm going to support. So I understand those people. But if you're a Game Pass gamer, like if Game Pass is what pulled you in here and is what motivated you, then who cares, right? Who cares what Xbox does with its games a la carte? Game Pass is not going to be anywhere as far as a platform is concerned when we talk about Nintendo or PlayStation. So if Game Pass is your motivation, then you really don't have a problem. The only thing I would say for you is if outside of Game Pass you deal with multiplats, you might want to consider where you're going to get those multiplats, because I don't know if you want to segment your. Here's my concern that I don't have the answers to yet. How how does an Xbox look in the future where people realize that they can get the games elsewhere? So now they say, well, look, the best bang for my buck is to get another platform. And then, as we saw in the Nintendo Switch Direct today, there were games that are there like, what was that, a remake of, what game was that there was a remake of? Because I didn't see the Switch, I just saw the news. Oh, the Star Wars Battlefront, there's a remake of that. And then there was like another JRPG that was there. And people are already asking, why aren't those games coming to Xbox? Well, you better believe that with this move, there's going to be even less incentive. So you might see less and less games coming to Xbox. So maybe you might want to think, okay, do I want to get my multiplats elsewhere? Somewhere that's more fathomable to get all of the multiplats that I would be interested in. Like, do I just use Xbox for Game Pass, well, albeit the cloud or a console or whatever, or PC? And do I get all my multiplats on PC? Do I get all my multiplats on another console? Or what do I? You might have that decision, but outside of that, there is no problem for you. And that may not be a big enough concern. You might be fine with, hey, I'm just going to get whatever multiplats are available on Xbox because I mainly game through Game Pass. If you fit in that bucket, the latter bucket, the only thing that is upsetting you is your ability to argue on Twitter. And this is why I like to distinguish the difference between conversations about the console war and people fanboying. Again, for you gamers that just came around 2019, 2020, listen to MM2K. The console war is not this yucky, mucky thing that people are now trying to transcribe it to. The console war just basically discuss the battle between companies and brands to get you to come over to their platform. What software are they putting out there to tantalize you? How well are they doing with those pushes? That's the console war. Executives got up at E3 on E3 stages and said the console war by name. And the console war effort to help these different brands get a better footing in it, that's why E3 was created. So amidst this console war, the different platform holders could go and meet retailers and jobbers, present their product, and sign deals to say, look, we want 100,000 hard copies of that game. We want 1 million of that one. All right, great. What ended up happening was the ESA said, shit, there's a money-making opportunity for us, but more importantly, let's now extend this to help you further in this console war. Let's help you further by expanding these showcases and bringing the gamers in to experience this. Because that'll help you in your holiday season. Help these gamers prep, know what's coming this year, coming this holiday or whenever. And that'll help you get a footing in amidst your against, or, you know, in lieu with your competitors in the console war. And publishers were there as well. Because, you know, even though they didn't have a particular platform that they were specific to, they wanted to take advantage of that. Well, look, okay, while you're looking at this game here and there, understand that we're on all these platforms and, you know, our shit is good too. The fanboying is you take the console war, you make a purchase of one of these brands within the console war, and then you start doing this social this parasocial activity where you must defend them no matter what. You must defend them and shoot everything else down around you no matter what. No matter what happens. That's fanboying. The fanboy creators out here that no longer have an incentive to shoot down PlayStation, because that's what this is all about. They still want to convince you that there's a battle between these two. There is no battle. Officially. There is no experiment. Okay, there is no, oh, we're just going to try with these 4 games. No. Xbox no longer has an incentive to keep any of its content exclusive. Now, am I saying the whole slate is definitively coming over? No, like when Xbox went to PC, they didn't go through its entire back catalog and put everything on PC. No, it was the shit that was ongoing. And then certain things just weren't feasible on PC at that time. Just like you're going to have some games that just aren't feasible for as far as resources are concerned, manpower, whatever. Every single game under the Xbox ABK Studios or Bethesda Studios, whatever, they may not make it over. It is their goal for them to, though. They are essentially, Xbox no longer is trying to compete against PlayStation. They are now trying to be the Western version of Tencent. Because Tencent themselves is trying to create an ecosystem or a platform behind it was rumored that they were talking in NVIDIA and trying to create the Tencent version of NVIDIA GeForce Now. That's the way Xbox sees themselves, as a massive game distributor that happens to have a platform that it's going to utilize to boost its games and or its service. But for the most part, those games, if not the service, are going to be everywhere. Think about it like this. There are a billion Steam accounts out there, right? And 5% of those Steam accounts are beefy enough. Let's do this. Let's do some research. How many Steam accounts in 2023? Because I don't think 2024 numbers are out yet. Peak concurrent, not now. Steam has 33 million active users. How many total? I don't care about active users. How many total Steam accounts in 2023? Steam usage. Okay. Okay. So, all right. I thought it was 1 billion. All right, let's do this. This comparison isn't perfect, but I think it gives you gives you an understanding of what we're dealing with to a degree. All right. So there's 123 million active users on Steam a month. 123 million active users on Steam a month. I would say that there, and Phil has hinted this, I don't know if it's accurate as far as active usership, but I think it's fair to assess that there are 200 million active users on consoles across all three. Microsoft has the smallest chunk. I'm going to surmise maybe 50 million. So you got 150 million active users between PlayStation and Nintendo, right? And I'm just throwing out rough estimates. That's, give or take how many ever millions, right? So that's going to double your accessibility, right? But here's something that's not being paid attention to. Only 5% of the average Steam user has the type of rig to play these games. Don't get me wrong, a game like Pentiment, is less demanding. But when you look at the type of rig that you're going to need to play these games from Xbox and from these Xbox studios, it's 5%. Where at least we know every single PlayStation of the current generation can play them. A large sector of the Nintendo, a decent amount of these games can be played on Nintendo Switch, or there's incentive to port them there. But you only have 5% of that active usership that can play these games over there on Steam. So it's not like Microsoft doesn't have the access to the total billion or 120 million active users over there on Steam. There's reason to argue that there's more potential for these games on other consoles. People don't break it down and put everything in its proper buckets. Microsoft games inherently aren't like smaller performant AA games. They have a section of, they have plenty of those games there. But a large, especially now that you're looking at the ABK games, the Bethesda games, the Halos, the Gears, the whatever, you gotta have a type of rig that fits into that 5 percentile of the rigs that people on Steam have, right? So arguably, the biggest tapping potential user base is now on these other consoles. So now with the purchase of ABK, the majority of our shit is going to be elsewhere anyway. Why the fuck would they keep that stuff exclusive? It's just common sense. Why would they keep that exclusive? If there's an experiment happening, the experiment isn't whether they're going to put those games on other platforms or not. The experiment is how best do we market and leverage these games so they are successful on these other platforms. That's the fucking experiment. Do not let these content creators who've built their platforms on convincing you that Xbox is in it to stay and outshine PlayStation, and that they're going to fight to get the best exclusives and AAA genre defining. Yeah, those days are over, son. They're done, son. It's over. Microsoft wants to be Tencent when it comes to gaming. PlayStation is staying in purely in the AAA genre defining platform space. Because they use those genre defining games to bring the hardcore, and as the hardcore flock, it's like when you go into Best Buy to find out which TV to buy. Who do you go to? You go to the technical nerds. You don't just ask any Joe Schmo what TV. You go to somebody that you feel like knows what TV you should buy. The same applies in gaming. What console should I buy? Well, everybody's going to the PlayStation because this. Okay, well, that's where I'm going to play Call of Duty and Fortnite. It's the way it always worked. It has never not worked that way. And as much as people threw up smoke and mirrors and say, no, this is changing, that's changing, and this is good. No. That's just a hypothesis. A hypothesis is only fact. I mean, a hypothesis is not fact. I'm sorry. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's a theory. It's not fact. And you can't be that stubborn and that anal enough to where you just know a hypothesis, a theory is proven. You gotta mentally put space in your mind to say, there is a possibility, even though I'm down with this, it not working. Because y'all are sending yourselves into shock over shit that really is not that shocking. Because you didn't do your research. You just really wanted something to happen. And I understand, because I really would have liked for it to happen. But you always, this is why I say, and people think I'd be trying to insult them, but no, it's just, I've been fortunate and blessed enough to where I've been put in certain situations in life that you guys clearly have not been put into. A saying, you got to kick the tires on this shit. It's how I live my life, right? I have to, or I'd be fucking fired. You know what I'm saying? Eating Navy beans, noodles for dinner and lunch. You gotta kick the tires, even on shit that you want. I started doing that. High school, my English teacher, shout out Mrs. D. She taught me how to write a thesis paper in high school. You normally don't get that type of education in high school. You normally don't get to write thesis papers and statements and shit like that and understand what the fuck they are and having to rebut your own theories. You normally don't start doing that shit until college. I was doing that in 9th grade, high school. So that really put me in the mind state to challenge myself. I may want something to happen, but what are the particulars that could make it not a reality? Second, for what I do now, I do special projects. I have a lot of management experience under my belt, but I wanted to get away from management, and I handle a real special process to our business, to our overall business, right? My error rate has to be 0.004 per month. So without saying too much, I have over 30,000 accounts that I monitor through this process. And I'm only allowed to make a mistake once. If you do the math. Because the way errors are counted, they're not counted as every single transaction or event that happens under the account, because there's millions of transactions in totality, tens of millions in totality. They look at an error per account. They don't look at an error per transaction. So because I monitor over 30,000 accounts, I'm only allowed a mistake for every 25,000 accounts. But there's only 33 that I won't say only, but I only monitor 33. So if I make one mistake a month, that's it. Because if I make two, there's not enough accounts that I monitor in a month's time that allows me mathematically to do two mistakes. So I can, with all the multiple transactions that I handle, I'm only allowed to make one mistake a month. And if I were to consistently make a mistake every month, that still could affect me. Could affect my raise. Could affect certain incentives that I get because of the grade level that I am. I'm even though I don't manage anymore, I'm still entitled to certain corporate-wide incentives. That could affect that. So in order to feed my family, so I don't come home one year and my wife say, "Oh, I was the bonus." And I don't say to her, "Sweetheart, I didn't get one this year," because I've fucked up too many times. I have to be on top of my shit. I have to cross-check, triple-check, quadruple-check shit. So I'm continuously in a mind state of, this is what I want. This is what I've seen, but let me check this before I say this live. That's why when I talk to Cold Blood, like, man, it takes you forever to do, because I gotta get everything aligned. And sometimes I may fuck up with something silly or stupid. You know what I mean? Like I might have fat keyed an extra letter somewhere. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But That's why I have to stay on top of my shit. And I guess most of y'all don't do that. So y'all, somebody just puts a Twitter post out there and y'all jump all over it. Y'all get all creamy knuckled over it. God, look, gonna clean myself off. He said that PlayStation's gonna do the same thing. There's music to my ears. Hand me a towel. Gonna clean myself off. No. I need to vet that shit and check that shit out. So again, stop listening to these fucking creators that have an incentive to want to be in this console war because, and I lied to y'all though, we're going to go at the midway point to the hour, then I'm going to bring Cold Blood in and then we're going to play some, we'll play some Helldivers here too, before I jump to Twitch. But another thing is, look, they want to keep these consoles and these platform wars going on and lingering. It's over, man. It's over. Their focus should have been on games, man. It should have been on games. And the platform wars or the console wars should have been an extension of that. People may hear that and they say, but Mosh, you frauding because you were doing the same thing. And when I say the same thing, a lot of these creators were trying to create support groups for people that like Xbox. That inherently was a mistake for the longevity of your product. Oh, you did the same thing with Stadia. No, I created an avenue. I created a safe house for them. But within that safe house, it was just, we were keeping you safe from all the lies and misinformation about Stadia. We were not keeping you safe from negativity. So I got to remind people, when SG&E, Stadia's in-house company, when that was dissolved and the messaging around that was porous, because I was just telling my business partner about this last night, because I don't know how we got on the topic. And I knew what they were going to do with the low change porting. Someone had given me that information while all this was going on. So I'm like, why is your messaging this fucked up? I blasted them for 2 weeks. It got to the point to where people were calling me. Yo, you need to stop. Give it up, yo. We get them. No, not until it changes. I'm one of the main people that I remember Serious Sam in Division 2. I cursed those mofos out, bro. When those games launched and I couldn't play them, I was like, you can't afford to do. And then with Serious Sam, live on air with Serious Sam, I said, no, this shit is trash. Me and Project Storm, I think if my memory serves me right, I don't know if we did this off air. I think we refunded the game on air. I think Storm did. We were like, no, this is trash. I'm not doing 30 frames per second with a Twitch shooter. And like, this is your staple game. This is your exclusive. You paid a lot of money for this. One of your main argument chips is your ability to do 60 frames per second when the competition at that time wasn't doing it. Nah, we're not doing this, Chief. When the whole Black Flag plenty of ARC, all that shit, plenty of situations live on air. I didn't cut them. No, we weren't trying to safeguard you from negative. This was not a Stadia clubhouse to that extent. This was, I want you to know about the platform. I want you to know the facts about the platform. I want you to know the truth. The reason why I fuck with the homie Doc Dark is the homie. I've just played with him and fuck with him about, some of the rhetoric that he has now. But how I met Doc Dark is the desire to have him come and know the platform separate from the misinformation he was getting. He said to me, in my attempt at doing so and buying him a Stadia unit, he said, bro, if I don't like this thing, I'm going to tear them a new asshole. That wasn't his exact words, that's mine. But I'm like, and do it. Because they need to hear from you what is wrong with the product. Because if they're going to win over the mainstream, it starts with people like you. They already got people like me. We're on the periphery. We're like niche. We hopped on this, you know what I'm saying? We don't represent the average gamer. You do. They need to get people like you. So whatever you have to say, Doc, let's say it. And he got it. We set up preemptively. We set up a stream where he was going to tell us what his thoughts were. Nothing was rehearsed. None of that shit. In contrast, these creators, oh man, we don't want any negative Xbox content. No, that's not what you do when you're a consumer. Look, you have to pick a lane. You got to be a consumer or an investor. You can't be both at the same level. Like, you can be an investor and consume something, but either you invest, either your main motivation is you engaging as an investor or not. Your main motivation over here has to be, are you a consumer or not? You can invest in a product for the long term, but what are you going to do? Are you an investor or a consumer? If you're an investor, then you don't belong here on YouTube talking to consumers. What you should be doing is talking to investors about the promise of Xbox. But consumers want results now. The results, when I go to a restaurant, when you go to a restaurant, you don't sit at the table in the hopes that they'll bring you your food sometime next year because it's not, they don't even have the ingredients yet. You're going to eat right then. An investor says, you know what? This store isn't open yet. I hear that they plan on making great food. They got some of the best chefs. Oh, this is going to be a great investment because once they are able to start serving food, the food is likely going to be fantastic. That's an investor. A consumer puts his money on the wood for what he's getting now. So if you want to do all this investment, like I had a creator tell me one time that they were buying the Xbox in 2020 for what they feel was going to come down the pike years later without confirmation. Okay, well, the average consumer, you're investing in the product off the hopes of something that you ain't got no confirmation on is even coming. A consumer doesn't do that. They buy for results now. Especially when it comes to a service or a product. If a service or a product that you can pre-order something, yeah, you could put your money, but this wasn't a pre-order transaction. You actually have the product in your hands right now. So what is it delivering now? Of course, there are things that you know about that are coming down the pike that'll say, oh yeah, this is a worthy purchase in the long run. But people are making investments in stuff that they hope will come. Not anything that was confirmed, stuff that they hope will come. That's not what consumers do. Nobody buys a car expecting the tires to be on the car and say, oh, in 6 months, we'll send the tires to you. But I'm buying the car now. I'm not putting money down on a purchase long term. I want to use this car now. Well, I mean, the tires are coming, I think. We hope. We're planning for. So that was mistake number one. And everything should have been centered around the games. Like, let me just give you a real quick backdrop on your boy. I came to Xbox because I was out of gaming for a while because of work. I was working on this big program and all I was doing at the time was playing my PlayStation 1 and playing, catching up on a backlog of RPGs. That's the only gaming that I did. And I did that like every blue moon. But then once I finished my project, I had time on my hands again. It was years later. So I was out of gaming for like 3 years. 3 or 4, maybe even 4 years. I didn't game. And I missed the whole N64 generation. So I started gaming. I started first with the Xbox and the GameCube. I started with them. Well, no. I had a Dreamcast first. I thought the Dreamcast was cool. I never really like got into it, but I thought the Dreamcast was cool for some of the things that they were attempting. But then the Dreamcast faded away, and the latest and greatest was the GameCube and the Xbox. End up liking the GameCube the most, but then the GameCube faded. Then I put more focus on my Xbox. I'm like, holy cow. My problem with the Xbox at launch was that big ass Duke controller. Like and the way the buttons were aligned, like I couldn't rock with that. Because you got to remember, again, the last console that I had played faithfully was the Sega Saturn. And then I got away from gaming for like 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer, and came back with the Dreamcast at the latter end of the Dreamcast, and then got into it, rigorously with the GameCube and the OG Xbox. So there was all that time to where I wasn't used to all those buttons and shit. Like my business partner, because we grew up together, he makes fun of me because I used to kick him and my cousin's ass every day in Joe Montana football and NBA Live back in the day after school. We come home after school. I used to beat the tar shit out of them every day. My cousin would be crying, man, this boy ain't cheating, man. I used to mollywop them. So as the PlayStation 2 and stuff came out, I wasn't used to those buttons, and they finally started beating me. So my business partner always joked with me and say, yeah, you would have mastered the 3 buttons. You know what I'm saying? He said, hey, 3 buttons no more, puppy. You get your ass mollywopped. But I couldn't get used to that Duke controller. It was just too much for me. But then after they redid the controller and shit, and they were smaller and all that stuff, I could get used to them. So I was really like digging the games, and I was digging the System Link thing, and I was like, this thing is really revolutionizing gaming, and because it was bringing Western developed games into the fray, and I was only used to them via PC because my brother was a PC dude. So I ended up moving in with my brother for a short period of time. We ended up becoming roommates and shit, and then the 360 came out, and the 360 was such a powerful game changer that it took my brother, he stopped PC gaming and was solely like we were diehard Xbox people. And my thing at the time was, even though I was a diehard Xbox fan, like, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even thinking about PlayStation. Like, PlayStation was irrelevant to me. I had a PlayStation 2, don't get me wrong. I ended up getting a PlayStation 2 like shortly after that because, like, I love King of Fighters, and I was interested in Siphon Filter, Mega Strain. And then again, all the big ticket games were releasing on PlayStation 2. It was guaranteed, so you had to have a PlayStation. But when it came to PlayStation 3, I wasn't even thinking about PlayStation, honestly. I remember going online and was like, look, we need to have System Link. Like, when I first started, I was really hammering on Xbox because I didn't understand why this whole System Link, which I thought was so dope, wasn't like being implemented more. I'm thinking it's an Xbox thing. I'm not understanding that developers had no incentive to put this in their game because Xbox was so low on the totem pole. Then the 360 comes out, and the 360 makes online gaming more prominent, right? So where you don't need System Link. And for y'all that don't know what System Link was, that's where you take your Xbox, connect it to somebody else's Xbox via a crossover cable, and y'all didn't have to play split screen. You could play on your Xbox on your TV, and they could play on their Xbox on their TV, and y'all could play a game together without it having to be split screen, without you having to play on the same Xbox. That's how archaic things were back then. But you could do that from system to system natively with a crossover cable. So when I first started getting into gaming, It was, we had a company called, or I won't say a company. Well, yeah, it would end up becoming a company. But we had like a publication called Mindbenders and New Age Faction, where that was, the Mindbenders part was trying to influence the technology part of gaming. And we were like, the biggest technological advancement is this system link thing. Like, this shit is dope. Like, Microsoft, why aren't you doing more of this? So we actually were going around to different GameStops and had motherfuckers signing petitions to get Microsoft to put more system link in the games. And we were sending that to Redmond. I don't know what, they probably wiped their ass with those petitions, threw them away. Because we were ignorant to the fact that it wasn't Microsoft not implementing it. It was the fucking publishers. So then that was the Mindbenders part of it. Was trying to get it on the technological part. The New Age Faction was our like website publication. We started off on MySpace. And we weren't in the console war. And in our minds, you game wherever the fuck you want to game, but like the 360 was it. So we were just talking about games that were coming multi-plat and then the 360 games and shit like that. But there were way more multi-plats than exclusive titles at that time, because the 360 was spending money to make games multi-plat. So we were focused on just games. It wasn't until that we got on MySpace and then we started seeing motherfucker, oh, fuck that game, it's not on PlayStation and this, and we were like, whoa, like what's going on? And then we started seeing the rivalry with the fanboying as it related to the console war. So unfortunately, inherently, well, no, I won't say unfortunately, because letting people know what consoles are providing what and what trajectory they are on does a lot to help consumers. There was a lot of bickering back and forth, not as much as you see on Twitter, but a lot of so the unsuspecting person that was on MySpace, they would have been disillusioned and stared down the wrong path. So then we started becoming advocates for the Xbox brand more so than PlayStation, even though we were focused on games. We were doing so to help gamers understand what they were getting with each platform and what games were being provided and this, that, and the other. At the core of everything that I've done since reporting and talking about games on like a global scale, the games were always the centrifuge. It just so happens that at times they have to go through the prism of the console war, not the fanboying, but the console war, because particular consoles at a particular time influence what type of games come out. Like PlayStation 2, they influenced the games that were coming out. Then the 360 had its turn. So yeah, we did it through the prisms of the platforms of what they were providing and to make sure people knew what they were providing. Hence why my whole apprehension about Xbox right now. I don't care what Xbox ends up doing. It's their brand to do whatever the hell they want to do. Just don't mislead people. That was my problem. It's been my problem with Phil since 2017 when I was heavily supportive of the brand. I had an issue with Phil not being transparent, always just saying things to placate the people. But our MO has always been the games. Not simply just making a clubhouse for people that like Xbox or like PlayStation. Like, that's not what I do now. Like at a 2023, there was a point in time where we really was like, oh shit, man, PlayStation is on its P's and Q's. Let's take a deeper dive and a deeper look into what they're doing, what games are coming out. And we had a PlayStation show. It only lasted 9 episodes. Why? Because when we saw the flippant attitude that they had towards their hardcore base with that March Direct, we ended it. That was our most successful show on our Twitch channel. I mean, people were hitting us with money, all types of shit. We are not to be bought or sold here. We're here to inform. Could I have easily said, you know what? I like Stadia, but let me shut my fucking mouth and go rah, rah, rah PlayStation or rah, rah, rah Xbox? Yes. Some of your favorite content creators would hit me up behind the scene and say, you know what? I love what you do, whether I agree with you or not. We were on a trajectory to where if we would have grabbed a PlayStation flag or an Xbox flag, we're up there with everybody else. We made a cognizant decision for long-term sustainable growth because we want to spread a message and we want to give people a place they can go to get facts, regardless of what you like, regardless of what I like. We can get facts. We sacrifice short-term clicks and success for long-term sustainability. The rest of those mofos out there didn't do that. Do not get caught up in the tailwind of their poorest decisions. We live on another day because I can easily start talking about the games. Like directly after this, we're going to talk about Helldivers too. The good, the bad, the ugly, the over-exaggerated. We're going to talk about that shit. We're going to play some. But opposite of that, these other mofos, they don't know how to get excited about talking about games because they built their legacy, they built their brand on just hating PlayStation and hating on the PlayStation community. That's why you see so much anger, so much vitriol from them. Your PlayStation's going to do the same thing. Poor Colt Eastwood. I feel sorry for that dude. I haven't agreed with him always. I haven't agreed with his tactics, like the shit he tried to pull with J-Dub a couple years ago and some of the misleading stuff like with Redfall and all that other shit and then trying to double walk that. Like I haven't appreciated that from a consumer standpoint because I knew better. But damn, can't help but feel sorry for that dude because he don't know which way to go. But I'm here to tell you the platform wars are over. The biggest sign that they're over is Tim. Tim has had no incentive of doing what he did. Bro was on top of the world with Xbox. Getting like, y'all don't understand. He's already made this public. And again, for those that try to misconceive, like, they understand Tim and they're in his head and they know why he's doing whatever. I don't think Tim is going to mind me saying this. Not just me, but I'm within a group to where we have damn well talked to Tim every single fucking day. You know what I'm saying? Every single day. And Tim is as raw and as authentic with us without spilling any personal, with any confidential information that he is not to spill. He's always been, he's always been loyal and professional in that regards. But, because we're like, we'll sit there and dig, and Tim, you know this, and Tim would just like, ha ha ha, whatever, not say anything. And then after it's released, he's like, yeah, I couldn't say anything, but yeah, such, you know what I mean? Like, so if anybody knows Tim's motivation, I think it would be us. We Merry Christmas, happy this, happy that. And most of the conversations was like talking shit. Oh, you like that punk ass Xbox, Tim? And oh, Tim, Tim coming back to your boy. Oh, that punk ass Stadia. That's why they shut down. Oh, you can imagine when Stadia shut down, the business those dudes gave me in that group chat was crazy. And like I said, most of your favorite content creators, they get along, except for the assholes that want to make things personal, like legitimately personal, and make up and dislike somebody because of the box that they like. Like most of my friends don't have my gaming tastes at all. Most of my friends out here, and Tim is one of them. I consider Tim a friend. And really, Tim is outside. I don't want to say outside because it's just banter. We just going back and forth. Tim has been one of the most sincere, nicest, loyal, friendly, and just good people that you could meet out here. Excuse me. Despite me starting in this game as a staunch Xbox supporter, even in my most staunchest Xbox criticism, Tim has been a good guy that will give you the shirt off his fucking back. Now, have I agreed with everything that he's done? No, I haven't. But that's what makes Tim Tim. I'm not perfect either. That's what makes MM2K MM2K. So if there's anybody out here that understands Tim's motivation, I feel like I have a good grasp on it. Tim knows what the fuck it is that they're about to do. He knows what it is that they're planning. He's not going to defend them no matter what, because at the end of the day, Tim believed in a direction. He believed in a brand in a particular sense, and he was given full indications that that direction, that brand that he believed in was where they were going to go. And that has changed. And because that has changed, and that's against everything that he stands for as a consumer, he's like, look, I can't support this. That's how consumers are supposed to act. It is not our job to bolster up multi-billion-dollar companies just for the sake of doing it. Yes, if you want to make people aware of what the offerings are, and you happen to like those offerings or not, whatever, you happen to like those offerings, there's nothing wrong with cascading that information. But to act like you're the fucking employee or the CEO yourself of a brand who's not doing shit for you, unless you're a content creator that's getting flown out to places and you lie about games and 40 frame deltas, but that's here nor there. There is no incentive for doing that. And I just look at a lot of you out there that still think that there's a platform war. There is none. It's over. PlayStation is in its lane. Nintendo is in their lane. And Xbox is in their lane with Tencent. It's over. Y'all had a hell of a run. It's over. Y'all had a hell of a run in that lane. You're not over. The platform isn't over. But y'all doing something totally different now. You can't measure your success versus Nintendo. Like, for instance, PlayStation is making more money than the 3, right? But fucking Nintendo earns more money on the dollar. And they're far behind in revenue, but their profit margins are larger. Right? Xbox now has access to more games on more platforms. But even with the ABK deal, they didn't make as much revenue as PlayStation. Like, everybody's in their own different lanes with their own set of goals. It's over. Unless a new competitor comes in that tries to fuck with them in any of those 3 lanes, it's over. If you're an Xbox fan or a Microsoft gaming fan and you want to talk your competitive bullpucky, then you better talk about Tencent. That's your new competitor, is Tencent. That's the only company that resembles the path that you're on. You need to stop talking about PlayStation because you're going to be putting games there from here on out. You definitely need to keep it up where you're not talking about Nintendo because you're going to put games there from here on out. Those are not your competitors anymore. It's a wrap. Read the fucking thumbnail. It's a wrap. It's over. And no, PlayStation is not looking. Look, that is the dumbest cope out there. Xbox does day and date with Game Pass. Look at the Game Pass numbers. They're not significantly growing. Look at the loss in potential revenue. Starfield is tenement to that. Yes, did Starfield have a lot of engagement and still have a lot of sales? Yes, but imagine what Starfield would have been able to do if it would have remained multi-plat and it wasn't day and date in Game Pass. My God, my God, my God. All these critical moves that Microsoft is making is not because they're trying to shake up the industry. They got all this stuff that has potential. They got to carve out their own lane now. And any incentive for them to battle in the lane that PlayStation is in has been taken away from them. It no longer exists. PlayStation, on the other hand, they make money off of every console that they sell, off the bat now. They make AAA genre-defining games that get critically acclaimed and that sell, not just engage with, sell 10 million or more. When's the last time Xbox could say that? Months after release. On their platform alone. Sold over 10 million on their platform alone. They didn't need PC sales for that. Oh, the profit margins. Profit margins are dynamic. You don't understand business. The same people that tried to get you all, hemorrhoid in the pie shooter about the evaluation, less than 24 hours told you that the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming out, and now PlayStation is going to save gaming because now you'll be able to play GTA 6 in 4K 60. Like, make up your freaking mind. That's why I didn't even entertain that shit yesterday. I just play games. It's stupid. It's silly. It's over, man. And for you creators, again, like I said, we're going to show you. We're about to talk about games. That's what you're going to have to do, son. And you're more motivated, y'all, to talk about games because now your games are going everywhere. They're going everywhere. Just talk about the games. Talk about the state of AAA gaming. I don't know what to tell y'all. It's over. This is a sad sight to see. PlayStation has no incentive because margins are down, because chips are still expensive. Even though other minuscule parts may have went down in price, the chips are still expensive. They couldn't make significant price cuts. Cost of gaming did go up. Then I think it's not until fiscal 2024 that the whole, I could be wrong on this, but I think it's not until fiscal 2024 that they're done with the Bungie debt. That's another thing that I think is still affecting them. But here's the kicker. They're still on pace to sell more than 20 million consoles. And if they reach 21 million, that's more than any fiscal year of the PlayStation 4. That is sick. But that's a totally different lane. Xbox is out of that lane now. This is what y'all mofos need to start doing. Here, let me help you. I'm gonna help y'all. Let me help y'all. Let's go back here. 10 cents. This is what y'all need to do. Y'all need to go to 10 cents wiki check out the revenue, all that shit, son. Y'all need, that's what you need to do now. Y'all need to talk about Tencent games. Let's do Tencent games in 2024. Here goes Tencent games, right? Oh shit. Now that's them on Twitter. Y'all need to follow Tencent. Look at the games that they got coming out, the games that they support. Check out their lineup. That's who you need to be battling with now. That's the lane that Xbox is in now. They're not in a lane with PlayStation. And no, PlayStation does not need to go and put their games out. It just doesn't make it's the antithesis of their business direction. They make money off their consoles. Why would they want to create a dynamic where it's one thing where PC gamers might start seeing games more aggressively on Xbox. I mean on PlayStation. That's one thing. Because your average plug and play console gamer is not going to just transition to PC. More of your hardcore gamers will, and shout out to Nib. I heard him say something on the Mooch podcast this past Friday where he said that's still a concern. PlayStation is going to have to watch how aggressive they are there because if they go too, if it's more than just more games going on PC and it's closer to day and date, they're going to fuck up their margins because the more hardcore that buy more games per capita or per person, they're going to go over to PC, and then that's 30% that they're going to miss out on because they got to give that 30% now to Steam opposed to that 30% going to them for each game. That's the DLC that they're no longer getting, all the money on and all the other stuff. And if that gamer says, well, I might as well go to PC in entirety, that's the multi-plat games that the revenue that they're missing out on. So you have something there to where I believe Sony's going to get more aggressive in volume of games because it's not like they got a shit ton of games that come to PC. I think you're going to see something more so in volume than they are as far as when they release. But they got to watch those margins because a large swath of their hardcore that they use to to appeal and get the casual gamers to come over to PlayStation, they don't want to mess with that too much. So with that said, there is no incentive for PlayStation to do what Xbox is doing because they don't have problems selling consoles. They don't have problems selling games. They don't have problems profiting off their consoles, even if the margins are lower than what they usually are. That's dynamic. That's just because of the climate that we're in now, because of the manufacturing prices with the chips and, just on the brink of getting out of COVID. That's not static. It's not going to always be this way. So for the time being, maybe they have to be more aggressive and put more volume on PC than they have before. But doing what Xbox is doing, experimenting with marquee titles like Hi-Fi Rush was Hi-Fi Rush and Pentiment were of your highest rated games the last year or so. Those are going on PlayStation. You would never see, even if it is AA, you would never see PlayStation. You would never see Nintendo do that. Nintendo's not embracing PC at all. Stop listening to Phil and what he says because he's a spokesman for his business. His business is in a different lane, and what he's trying to do is this is where the lack of transparency is an issue. He's trying to maintain his core consumer is the consumer that is in the lane where PlayStation is at, even though they're trying to transition to another lane. So imagine you're on a bus with a bus driver, and he's, instead of going on the route that he's supposed to go to and take you, he wants to make a pit stop. But he doesn't want you to know he's making a pit stop, not just yet. Once he makes the pit stop, he'll deal with it then. But right now, before he gets to his destination, he don't want to quite, reveal it yet. Why did you make that turn? Oh, I heard there's construction over there. Don't worry. Everybody's going to make this turn. Why are you going down this street? Oh, yeah, they said that the street is buckling there. Everybody's going to come down this way. You can't listen to that guy when it comes to that, because he's now making a turn and heading in a trajectory that's more with Tencent. But he has to do it while he maintains you, the AAA genre defining gamer. You got to be able to separate the forest from the trees here. And then there's content creators on the other side of that have an incentive of making you feel like that this war is still going on, that Microsoft is going to come out and they're going to out Sony as far as AAA genre defining titles and the distribution of them in exclusive gaming. No, that's not their game anymore. Just get the longer that you fight this, the more difficult you're making it for yourselves. Those content creators got to find out what they're going to do on their own. That's their job, not yours. You are a consumer. You got to find out what's best for you in the gaming space. So now you got to figure out, hey, does this new Tencent approach with Microsoft gaming, does it fit me? Oh yeah, cool, it does. All right, fuck, it's over. Find some more content. Look, there's fucking creators that don't agree with nothing I agree with on gaming philosophy, particularly Rebel FM. Check the Arthur Giles, and I forget the other people that are on there. They are fantastic. You need to start listening to them. Drop these other bozos that you're listening to on YouTube. Rebel FM, check them out. You just gotta change the static that is coming through your earlobes, man. That's it. You'll be okay. But that's what it is. That's my background. That's why I got an Xbox. That's why I was able to separate the forest from the trees, because I kicked the tires on shit. Even when I was motivated to support Xbox, because I got into this because I was like, I started doing YouTube videos because I just wanted to show people. I was like, look, I'm going to play these PlayStation games that I feel like are overrated and that they're dog shit. And I'm going to show you, for those that are not the wiser, don't fall for this. These games aren't that great. And so then I played Uncharted 4 and I played Horizon Zero Dawn. And I felt like, and I still stand by it, I felt like at the time, those games weren't as great as the, and I broke it down on why I didn't feel like those games were great. I thought the AI in Uncharted 4 was horrendous. I played on the second to hardest level. I felt like that Horizon Zero Dawn, I played on the second to hardest level there too. It was really not a challenge. It was just, the experience was discombobulated to me. And it was underscored by the fact that from level 4 to level 14, even though this is supposed to be a game with some core RPG elements, I didn't have to upgrade my character. And I showed that on camera, that I didn't have to upgrade. So I stand by that. But it was all centered around the games, not me trying to just knock down PlayStation because I bought an Xbox. And now you, as the consumer of this content, you just gotta retune your focus. If you're an Xbox person and you still want to listen to positive Xbox content, start with Rebel FM. You got to ditch these losers. They're going through a coping phase that they're going to be going through for a long time. They're not going to be done. They're not going to get over it by the end of this year, even though it's going to look more grim. They might not get over it until 2026. You do not want to be caught in their web in 2026 still listening to the same bullshit 40 to 50 frame deltas and still making bad purchase decisions based upon something totally different from what you expect or what you want. You need to evaluate the new Microsoft gaming business, the direction, and say, is this for you? And if it is for you, great. If it's not for you, then you gotta go somewhere else. I mean, that's it. That's basic consumer moves. And if you like Xbox and you want to hear more about it, then reshift your focus from, we're going to give it to those ponies. Reshift your focus to, look, I just want to learn more about this direction in Xbox. Go listen to Rebel FM. Trust me. You will feel relieved. You'll get over it. You'll feel relieved and you'll be a better game content consumer because of it. All right, that's all I gotta say right now. I'm gonna go to this chat, see what you guys have to say in this chat, and then I'm gonna let me bring Cold Blood in. Hey, Cold Blood, oh, you're in the chat. All right, hold on. Let me bring you in, bro. Let me join. Okay, I'm joining Cold Blood. Cold Blood, I don't know if you're listening. I see you're muted, brother. But I'm just going to read some of these comments. Cold Blood, what's up, brother? Oh, this dude is a nut, bro. He is a nut. He's a shoulder-fired nut. Hey, yo, no, you do not, man. Hey, Cold Blood, why you do that, man? Why is you doing that, man? Woo, moment, what do you say? Moment of silence. Oh, man. This dude.
For fallen bot brothers. Today is the fucking day. Y'all been watched 1,000 times. More than 1,000 times.
Oh my God.
Y'all said never. Never. Will never happen.
Oh man.
Yeah, we have a funeral today, brother.
Oh, brother. Yo. Oh, shit. Let me go fix this. So what are your, I gotta fix this Nightbot because Nightbot is attacking Sean in the chat. But what are your thoughts on all this, man? When because you didn't even know. Like, you were calling me earlier today, but I was doing some shit, but you didn't even know about the Nintendo Direct, man. What were your thoughts on when you saw and heard all this shit?
Well, predictable.
Yeah.
Very predictable, because when they said on the Nintendo showcase, it's a partner showcase, oh, I knew what's coming.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to watch the fucking shit. I knew exactly what was coming.
Oh man. That is crazy. All right, let me disable this shit. Excessive caps, excessive emotes.
No, Sean. Nobody's playing that trash.
What game is that?
Grounded.
Oh shit. They might play it on the Switch. It might do well on the. Who knows? Who knows, man? I shout out to my homie Noah. Noah of State of Gaming. He does State of Gaming with Post Up. Noah plays everything. So Noah I think I played Grounded with him one time, and I almost threw up in my fucking mouth. No. Never again. Like King's Blood and the Real Maslin, they tricked me in. Hold on one second. Hold on.
So how was your day, Chad? I literally woke up. I was like, let me look at Twitter. What do I see first thing? It's $40 for Elden Ring DLC. You gotta be shitting me, I thought. What the fuck is this? $40 for fucking DLC.
God damn, my wife. I love her, but send me a fucking text. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm sorry. What were you asking the chat, Cold Blood?
How that day was going, because my day is kind of ruined. $40 for Elden Ring DLC.
Oh yeah. We can, yeah. Now see, we can have those conversations here, and we can get into that. I don't know what these other content creators are going to do. Like, but y'all got to refocus y'all attention, man, because they've been pulling your chain. Like, get off of this. Yeah, Xbox is going to do better than PlayStation. PlayStation is going, like, those conversations are dead to me. I don't even want to have those conversations anymore. Like, if there's some bullshit,
you're gonna have them with.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all that.
Yeah. Like, if there's some bullshit that comes out, and I don't even know if I want to keep addressing the bullshit. Like, I just avoided it yesterday. I made a couple of tweets, but if there's some bullshit out there that I feel like people could fall victim to, I might say something. We could do some content on that, but I'm not. It's over, man. Like, it's over. Like, I don't know what else to tell people. And I'm not saying that like in a bad way. It's just they changed their mind. Like, fucking Nintendo did the same thing. Nintendo got out. And okay. Like, and I'm not saying your people shouldn't be concerned about this, because I am concerned about it to a certain extent. I don't think games are going to be $1,000 and, you know, PlayStation is now going to make nothing but fizzle chisel popper games. No, I don't. But, you know, without somebody at least trying to get a leg up in that space, I don't think that's good. I think it's always better to have someone at least try. You know what I mean? But if you like Xbox, who cares if you can't battle on Twitter anymore? Who cares if a YouTube video calling out PlayStation is useless? So what? I think you're better off as a gamer if you're informed about what the fuck is coming out and why.
Is my microphone fucking up or something? Because it keeps on saying that I'm talking, but I'm not.
Oh. Hold on, let me see something.
What's going on?
Oh yeah, it's staying static. I don't know. That's weird. I don't have your mic up, I don't think. Hold on. But even if your mic was up, you have something running in the. Let me see. No, I don't have your volume up. That's weird. That is weird.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Maybe no.
Okay. Yep. There it goes. Yeah. Let's get these comments in the chat. See what people have to say about this. Like, are you guys like crying inside, or are you? No, the fight wages on. The fight.
My Series S compliments my Switch so much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what. Who said that? Ron or someone?
Somebody said that?
Yeah, somebody said that.
Oh my fucking. Ron, I'm gonna take that as a joke, brother. I'm gonna take. Yeah, we gonna chalk that up to you joking, man. We love you, bro.
I'm not joking.
No, I know you're not joking. I'm taking that as.
Oh no, I can't see. Said that.
Okay, so Dusty Aran is a cloud gamer who this move doesn't affect him negatively at all. I understand him. I totally get him. and all the cloud gamers, and positively, I am glad to see Phil even acknowledge you guys at first. And when I say you guys, I don't mean I'm not a cloud gamer. I'm definitely a cloud gamer. I'm not a proactive ex-cloud gamer. I ain't gonna bash it. It's y'all's thing. That's fine. But I get y'all, because this move is actually what y'all were looking for. But for people that like want to argue or beat their chest about the AAA genre defining space, nah. Like a Ron who said to us during that NRO podcast that PlayStation games are trash and shit. Something he was saying. Now someone like Ron, nah, you don't get to say that. I'll get, Dusty Aran, I know what his motivators are, so I completely understand. Let me see here. Let's go to the chat. I'll do the last because y'all. He says, Sean L says, I can't get in the Elden Ring, he says. I haven't tried it yet.
Shit. This code to the bullshit mafia, this idiot, he's gonna delete his account tomorrow.
Oh man. Yeah.
John.
Man.
John, why you send me that right now?
What he send you, bro?
You sent me the tweet of his. He said, send your ass in the comments and I delete my account tomorrow morning. Oh boy.
Paul Gang said, hold the line. Yeah. To me, see, that's the problem with that whole wing. Like, and I had heard something to where the excuse was because people were upset about the ABK deal. If my memory serves me correct, I don't think it was about ABK. I think that line had came about. It came, the ABK spreads like a few years. I think the line thing came about because Redfall. Remember when bots were going crazy about Redfall and shit? And they were upset at Redfall being 30, and they were like, hold on. Does that mean that Starfield's gonna be 30? Now, again, that could have been their motivator to start to hold the line, but the hold the line thing became a popular antic. If my memory, I could be wrong, if my memory serves me right, it became a popular antic around Redfall and people being upset about that. But I just think that the whole thought process is so anti-consumer. Again, you got these creators that are speaking to consumers who believe in something that is not happening. And that belief is being reinforced because people think that people are connected and they know what's going on. Look, Tim Dog, I don't know how more connected as a gamer you get than Tim Dog. And he was perceived, now again, he's admitted himself that there were some things that were going awry, and the messaging that was out there didn't truly reflect what was going on. But the basis of his understanding was Xbox was going in a competitive direction. They were trying to expand their horizons past PlayStation, but that horizon.
J-Wax is in the chat.
Oh, hey, J-Wax, what's going on, brother? He said, power your dreams. Even though, and Wags, I don't know your schedule. I had already talked to Thrash, but I wanted to get you brothers on a podcast so we could talk about just this development and how it affects those that, again, are in the AAA genre defining space and are looking into gaming in that competitive lens, and how this move just completely removes them from that competitive lane. Like, if you enjoy what they're putting out there, fine. But apparently you don't enjoy it if you're getting upset and you're getting riled up. And then back to Tim Dog, I think Tim Dog, even he was led to believe that this was the direction they were going into. Why? Now, why is that direction so important? Because there's people that may be in the same camp like Dusty Arand and others who don't care about this type of stuff. We're like, why does this matter? And as someone who's been gaming for 35 plus years, I'll tell you why it matters. When you look at the entire landscape, platform makers have to come up with enticing, badass, top of the line content because they're asking you to buy this $500 box that just plays games. They're not making and Yoshida explained this in 2014 about how exclusives work. They're not making the money off the exclusives. The exclusives are to pull you in. They're making the money off the other software that's sold. But what helps predetermine the box that you buy, are you buying this box over that box, is you watching where people flock to. And the people that flock to a box first are who? The hardcore gamers. So and they're looked at as the resident experts, or I'm going to use a business term, the subject matter experts, or in short, the SMEs. When you watch the subject matter experts float to a certain box, those are the nerds that know the best about which box to buy, right? That's where I'm going. That's the power of the exclusive. So if you're a AAA genre defining gamer like myself, who actually feasts on those games, I know the power of a box being on the market and trying to compete for those customers under that pyramid. And I look at the landscape and say, those are where the best games are coming from. They're coming from those box makers that really, really want to compete in this space. And look at it time and time again. They may not win every year, but the Game of the Year categories and the most recognized games, they are filled with that exclusive top-notch content. Because those box makers or those platform holders, they are trying so hard to convince you to go to their platform. And that's why it matters. Because if you're not vying in the AAA genre defining space, then what is my faith in you creating AAA genre defining games at a regular cadence? You know what I mean? So, Double Shooter says, did Xbox damage control meeting work on Tim Dog? No, Tim Dog, look, I can say this. Tim Dog knows what's going on. He understands that maybe in lieu of this controversy, they've reworked their messaging. And I can't remember, I think it was Reforged Gamer or somebody they put out a snippet, that said, look, this was master manipulation. That before these rumors came out, the thought of any games, even Hi-Fi Rush, remember your favorite Xbox content creators told you that Hi-Fi Rush was quote unquote special. And it doesn't deserve to be anywhere else besides Xbox and PC. Remember, they told these people that you flock to, right? That are leading you astray. They told you that, right? So the thought of any of these games going, then the rumors include Starfield. Now, some people are alleging maybe Starfield was a controlled leak. I do believe Starfield is on the table, but as far like Cold Blood, I think said it best. To sit there and include Starfield in your conversation as something that's coming right now or whatever, or at any juncture, is kind of foolish. And I agree with that sentiment. I do believe personally that it's on the docket, right? Like they're looking at how it didn't move the needle for them the way they wanted it to on Game Pass and elsewhere systemically. That launch period, yeah, it did some noticeable numbers, but they wanted it to push Game Pass so much further because so much activity was per Game Pass. They would have liked more sales, more systemic sales over time. It's done dropped off the face of the planet on Steam now. So I believe Starfield will be coming, but to sit there and say, the full slate is coming tomorrow, yeah, that's silly, right? But those conversations are happening in the most fringe areas. The most fringe trolls are saying that, and the most fringe Xbox zealots were saying that. Those of us in the middle having this conversation, nobody was saying Xbox was shutting down. Those of us that were in the middle. It was only the fringe having those conversations.
What these bots don't understand is, if they want to port a game to PlayStation, they can't just do it. They need approval first.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
Exactly.
That takes a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
You gotta have all the fucking business meetings and shit with the publisher.
Yep. Exactly.
They think they can just snip a fucking finger and all of a sudden all the games are over there. Nah, that's not how it works.
And I think this was a decision, to your point, Cold Blood, that was made relatively close to the APK deal closing. You can't sign up the whole slate then. But they're negotiating and talking about the games that they want to come over. And I believe that every single, like somebody made a great point. If the majority of Xbox's lineup is now multi-plat, and you're doing this because, quote unquote, the games have now run into a wall and they're not growing, what would stop Halo Infinite? What would stop Starfield? Right? I mean, you can make an argument Indiana Jones ain't even out yet, so why would Indiana Jones go? But again, like I said, that speaks to the broader vision. But what would stop Halo, or what would stop Gears? Those platforms are ballooning now? Or those games are ballooning now? I don't think so. Look at Starfield, and then you look at a 16-year-old or 12-year-old Skyrim that is averaging more numbers now on Steam. I don't think so. Nothing's stopping them.
You can't forget that these games have to be play tested first.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a thing that happens with consoles and PC and everything.
Yeah.
You just can't shit out a port and then it's not fucking working.
Yeah, you just
PlayStation ain't gonna allow that.
You hit Control-Alt-Delete, you know what I'm saying, or Control-X and copy it onto a PlayStation and shit. Hit Control-V and then it saves it. No, it don't work like that. Cold Blood is 1,000% right. So it's over. I mean, and think about this: the fact that, like, they're moving. And they're going to do what they need to do. And to calm y'all down, again, in the scenario that I gave, the bus driver, he wants to make a pit stop. He wants to go to Arby's, get him a chicken sandwich. He don't want to tell you yet because he don't want you punching him in the back of his neck on his way there. Like, he'll deal with you once he gets there. Once he gets there, he's safe. He won't eat his chicken sandwich. But he's taking you along for the ride and giving you some non-transparent information. Oh, no. They said I heard there's a closing down there. Everybody's going this way. You can't pay attention to that double speak and that verbiage. I think the most telltale signs are, number one, if these rumors would have never came out, as things appear, and they said this, and now this is the transparent stuff that they said that people are overlooking. They said that they were going to reveal this later. Like, this Nintendo fucking Direct would have hit last week, and then you would have found out about them games. Then you would have found out about those games. One. Number two. Phil, you got to understand that interview was designed to look like, okay, let's talk about what's going on with Xbox. Okay, ma'am, you got some questions that you designed on your own. Just shoot and ask us. I'm gonna call down Sarah, and she's just gonna come down here, and we're gonna shoot the shit with you. No, that shit was orchestrated and fucking rehearsed over and over again, and they still make mistakes, but still they were hurrying up with it because they only had so much time to stop the bleeding. As a corporate person, trust me, that shit was thoroughly rehearsed. Those questions were not hers. The responses were pre-crafted and practiced over and over again. Everybody in unison together. For him to say what he said in the way that he said it, when it was crafted and practiced, versus what he said to Tom Warren and The Verge. And shout out to Tom Warren, because he's playing Denzel Washington Training Day with you mofos. He's not playing with y'all. Y'all want to call me a liar? Shoe program for you. He's not playing with y'all. And y'all know I don't trust Tom as far as I can throw him. But I give him kudos just this time. Just this time. That being said, for him to say what he said, knowing the impression that it would give, and say something to the polar opposite with Tom Warren, it's a wrap. Hashtag it's a wrap. ISSAWRAP. It's a wrap. Get over it. I don't know what else to tell y'all. Y'all are grown men and fucking women crying over a business decision that a business wants to do. As much as I went and proclaimed that Stadia was going to lead us into the future of gaming, how much potential it had and how much belief I had in the product and all this other stuff, they died. What did I do? I went live. Said, look, they died. This is what's behind it. Da 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 da. But I'm a gamer. I'll check out other platforms. I still, even though I supported Stadia, day one I bought me a PlayStation. As soon as the 3070 came out around that time, I got me a I'm a gamer with a capital G. That's what you guys and gals are going to have to do. Be gamers with a capital G. Make sound decisions that are not purely based off of emotion, but based off what's reasonable for your gaming habits. And if you're happy with the Xbox product, regardless of where it goes, so the fuck what if you can't battle PlayStation people on Twitter? Who cares? Enjoy your Xbox, wherever their games may be. Let's see here. Sean L says, Xbox better buy some of those dead-ass Stadia features like Stream Connect. That'll help sell boxes. From what I hear, Sean L, they're looking to revamp some stuff. They're looking to revamp some stuff, and once there's and if there's any concrete information about that, I urge everybody to go check out clouddosage.com, because if anything trickles out, trust me, the good people over at Cloud Dosage will be the first to let you know. But the current setup is not going to power them into the future, and they understand that. Hence why that, along with the FTC shit, hence why they put a pause on some things. Phil hinted to, we'll see if that comes to fruition, that a la carte purchases on the cloud should happen for Xbox this year. But from what I understand, what hasn't been said, and that's why they're ramping up their conversations about the cloud, they are looking to make some significant changes that will allow them to have some significant performance in the cloud. And that's good. Yeah, J-Wags, join the Discord, bro. Because if anytime that you're free, like Thrash did, if you want to hop in, feel free to do that, bro. Wags tried to tell me, what was that, in 2018, Wags? That that Xbox was headed in this direction. I didn't want to believe it. said, Brigadier says, when was the last time Xbox gained one game? And that's a fact. And it's not an Xbox tax. It just, I think it was twofold. Number one, Phil just doesn't have an eye for that type of quality content. And then two, Satya didn't have the patience to risk. He didn't have the financial appetite. He didn't have the risk appetite to put that type of investment in a AAA game outside of their pillars and try to expand in what Xbox put out there. Because you got, it's like Yoshida said, you got to play test with this shit. They're gonna make, for every 10 exclusives, only 4 will see success, and 2 out of the 4 will justify the other 8. This is what Yoshida said about X. This is the game plan when it comes to exclusives. Satya didn't have an appetite, a financial risk appetite for that anymore. And then he probably realized, after probably with Crackdown, he probably looked at Phil and said, this motherfucker don't know what a good game is. He probably just said, cause I don't know. He probably looked at the landscape. He knows what he has. I mean, look, Phil told him that fucking, it was like Crackdown was going to be the shit. He told them that him and Amy Hood, the Xbox Series S and X, we got a great consoles. I'm really confident in what we, you know what I'm saying? Like really hyping this shit up to Satya. And lastly, because even Amy was like, yo, don't create a golden toilet. But Amy ain't the gamer. She's just a business person. And she had a better business sense on what this shit was going to do for them in the short term. She said, don't create a golden toilet. So now they're looking at Phil like, man, you got to get in the back seat, bro. Totally. Like, get in the back seat. Like, me and Amy ain't rolling down on windows. You greet the motherfuckers out on the street, but you get in the back seat, bro. This is the Satya and Amy show right now. Oh, they in an uproar. They having hemorrhoids out there about us dropping 4K. Go say what you need to say to calm them down, to get those wannabe sycophants out there to think they're gonna get something from us by kissing our ass and sucking the pie shooter. Go take care of them out there. But we're moving along. I think Satya realizes this guy has no finger on the pulse of quality from a competitive sense. Like, we got to carve out our own lane, or we got to join a lane that's totally opposite from this now. Like, we were entertaining this motherfucker when he all of a sudden, and you could tell that's what happened when he all of a sudden convinced them and convinced Satya and then turned on how they were going to handle Bethesda. What did Tim Stewart say? Wow. Pete Hines, an uproar. That was Phil trying to placate and still try to have some competitiveness between them and play. He's like, man, you can't control this ship. You don't know what you're doing from that prospect. I think there's a lot of attributes to you, Phil. You know what I'm saying? You can cater, you can motivate. What's it called? So yeah, we'll make that part of what you do. But this is what we're doing with this business, bro. It's going multi-plat. And it doesn't happen overnight. J-Wag says, Tim got me blocked. Oh, man. I can get you unblocked if you want me to, J-Wags. Google should just white label those features. I agree. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, I know there's rumors and talk about them doing something. KC Kid said, can I join? Yeah, absolutely. All right. With that said, I think that's enough. Here, this is what we're gonna do. on this very same channel, we are going to play some Helldivers, and then I'm gonna take it over to Twitch. But I want to talk about Helldivers while we're playing it. It's a segment that we call Hardcore Haven, where we do like pulse checks on games and shit. Let's see, copy. All right, let me go back here. So we're about to do this with Helldivers 2. We're going to talk about the good and the bad. I'm gonna play a little bit with my brother Cold Blood. Why ain't it letting me? Come on, man. Shaboing boing. Stop the bullshit. Okay, there we go. Go live. Come on, man. Okay. All right. Join us. Join us shortly for more Helldivers to talk and gameplay. All right. So this is where we're going to start the Helldivers talk and gameplay. Hold on. Come on. I hate this fucking emoji thing, bro.
What emoji?
Like this thing where I'm in the, you can't see it. Hold on, maybe if I do this. No, it's not working. Damn it. Where you could send like the emojis and shit on a comment. It blocks me from being able to pin shit. Why did Google just does some goofy shit, bro? They're not, Google's not on my best friends list for a particular reason. Hopefully we get this settled, but they really, they're full of geniuses, but man, oh man, oh man, are they very unorganized. I couldn't work there. And believe you me, I tried to work there because they pay good money, but yeah, I couldn't do it. I wouldn't last a week there. I would literally lose my shit. They're so fucking unorganized. But that said, we're going there, folks. We will see you there. Any final thoughts on today's news, Cold Blood, before we head on over and start playing Helldivers?
Whole slate, baby. Whole slate. Love you guys.
Oh, shit. All right. Oh, man. All right, y'all. With that said, I see the tweet, bro. Until next time, y'all have a wonderful gaming day. Peace. And again, join us over there for some Helldivers conversation and gameplay. All right, peace.